Annelle, this is the first UN brokered ceasefire since 2016. It appears to be holding so far, but do you think it will be successful given that previous truces have all been violated almost immediately?
Well, unfortunately, it does seem that both sides have accused the other side of already violating the ceasefire, that in particular around the strategically important city of Ma'arib, the last city in northern Yemen held by the internationally recognized government, that fighting has continued and both sides blame the other side for starting it. So it's very encouraging that we saw the first ship come and dock at the port of Hodeida, which is the first time that fuel has been able to enter Hodeida this year. And so I very much hope that perhaps the individuals responsible for breaking the ceasefire will hear from their leaders that it is really in everyone's interest for the ceasefire to hold.
That really isn't very encouraging if that's the case so far. The U.S. President Joe Biden released a statement saying he welcomes the 2-month truce. Pledging to end this war in Yemen was one of Biden's first foreign policy moves. What are your thoughts? Has the Biden administration lived up to any of that rhetoric?
Unfortunately, they continued to sell weapons to Saudi Arabia, asserting that they were merely selling defensive weapons. This is somewhat debatable. And in general, we have heard the Biden administration consistently condemn the Houthis while failing to condemn the much higher civilian impact of the Saudi-led airstrikes and blockade. We know that Biden's team, such as Special Envoy Tim Lenderking, has made many, many visits to the region. So we can only hope that perhaps this announcement of a ceasefire did reflect some efforts by the Biden administration, as well as the new UN Special Envoy, Hans Grunberg, who did announce the 2-month truce as reflecting his efforts in particular. But again, unfortunately, I think both sides have more incentives to continue fighting, in particular the war economy, by which certain individuals have become enormously wealthy, especially the Houthis, but others as well, provides the incentives for both sides to continue fighting while the vast majority of people just continue to suffer.
To what extent do you think is this ceasefire, the success of it, dependent on the nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran?
Certainly, I do think those are important. We know at the moment we've been hearing from leaders in the UAE and in Saudi Arabia that they feel nervous, that they feel the U.S. is not taking their concerns into sufficient account. And so this notion that if the U.S. does get back into the Iran nuclear deal, would that then, how would the Saudi leadership and Emirati leadership respond? The hope would be that by the U.S. having a working relationship with Iran and then perhaps U.S. Gulf security partners, perhaps being able to develop a better working relationship with Iran as well, that then Iran would be more willing to withdraw support for the Houthis, for example. But again, given just sort of the broader tensions resulting from the war in Ukraine and the spike in oil prices, many of these relationships are on the edge right now, and that includes the Iran nuclear deal. It's really unclear whether it is going to successfully be reinstated or not.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Annelle Sheline joining us from Washington. Thank you.